So very good afternoon to everyone here. I welcome you to the 31st episode of Gyaniki Tech Talk on the positive impact of electrification and automation on Indian agriculture. Electrification and automation system has taken to set transform the global industries. So the thought of bringing these two technologies together is itself so enthralling. So Mr. Kaustubh and Mr. Ashish Mehta, our guests for today, think they can make this combination work. Mr. Kaustubh is the founder and CEO of Autonext Automation Private Limited, an autonomous electric vehicle startup which also specializes in providing automation solutions, which he founded in 2016. Coming from a family of farmers himself, and his vision to bring cutting edge technology to the market has led him build his India's first electric autonomous tractor, which is currently in the process of getting launched. He has spoken at multiple forums all across India in areas of EVs, agriculture, startups, entrepreneurships, and engineering. He is currently leading an in-house multidisciplinary team of engineers in building a worldwide portfolio of automation products. And we have other guests for today, Mrs. Ashish Mehta. He brings in over a decade of global experience in EVs, decentralized grids, renewable energy, digital governance, cyber security, blockchain, and privacy standards. At Autonext Automation, he serves as a senior technical advisor and is instrumental in driving strategy around electric motors, supply chain management, standards, development, documentations, and so on. He's a director at Genesis Incubation Management Services Private Limited, a leading startup incubator and advisory firm with a strong focus in supporting innovative Make in India focused startups and taking their breakthrough products in the field of EV, agriculture, supply chain, and goes on. He also serves as an advisor to multiple government worldwide and is a mentor in the startup brand, one of largest communities for the startups. So I extend a warm welcome on behalf of all the participants in Team Gyaniki. We look forward to having a very insightful session with you.
Thank you.
So, Kaustubh, over to you.
Yes, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. So yes, I'm the founder and CEO of Autonext Automation Private Limited. We're basically a startup based in Mumbai. Our primary focus is on developing an electric self-driving tractor. We started in 2016. So I was speaking of the background why we basically started working on this electric self-driving tractor. Basically the idea originated when I was vacationing in my native place. One of my uncle had sold a brand new 1-year-old tractor, which was working fine, and it was not giving any as such problems technically. So when I asked him exactly what was the reason behind him, selling that brand new tractor, that time he told me about various challenges that Indian farmers are facing when they are trying to own a tractor these days in India. So I'll speak about the challenges later. So since then we have been, working on the solution, and we came to a stage where we've already, developed a market-ready design, and we're about to launch the same. And just to give a background about the team, we started with a multidisciplinary team who has helped us, which has helped us to get till here. We have other various people from different engineering backgrounds, automation, electrical background, and even mechanical engineering. And Mr. Pankaj Goel, who is recently joined us, and he is our COO. He has a decade-year experience in automobile industry, worked with CLO Maruti Suzuki, and even had leadership positions in Schneider Electric. He has an experience of around handling more than $500 million P&Ls. So he is currently joined us recently. And apart from that, we have Dharma Teja Arappa, who is taking care of the entire automation of the tractor when it comes to vision, how the tractor sees, how the tractor moves inside a particular farm plot. Everything is under his department. And Sachin Gowda is mainly takes care of the electrical and electronics of the tractor. So Vamsi Aturi, he is a mechanical design engineer who figures out the entire design of the mechanical side of the tractor. We have 100 plus combined years of experience when it comes to our advisors. Jason and Pradeep are on the board of directors of the company. They have been there from the day 2 of the company, and they've helped me raise the company till this level. connecting us with the right people, building the team, business strategy, etc. They have been backing us from the beginning. And so Ashish Mehta, he's already in the panel, and we've got the overall background. He's actually a senior technical advisor. He's basically our go-to man when it comes to all the regulations and information that is required related to government, etc. So Ivy Rao is actually one of the stalwarts from the automobile industry. He has led Maruti Suzuki's engineering team globally for almost 35 plus years. He's worked with Maruti, and he's an IIT Kharagpur guy. He's our first believer in the company, who has been working with us on a day-to-day basis now and to build the overall product. So this is how the story has been. We had built a first autonomous tractor, that is 100% self-driving tractor, back in 2017 with our initial team on a diesel variant, and that was the time when we did not even have an office space. We actually lived on a tractor garage, and we actually stayed there and converted a diesel tractor into 100% autonomous to showcase the technology that we have been working on. And after that, we in 2018 we launched our electric self-driving tractor prototype. That was the first one that we had made from scratch, and as you can see, I mean, we have been testing it for almost 2 years now on different agricultural conditions, different equipments, and now with all the data collected, we have finally made the market-ready design of the tractor, which will be used for the certifications that are necessary before we go for commercial launch. So after that, just to give you about awards and recognitions that we have won down the line. We've got an intent letter from the Lamborghini family, the founders of the Lamborghini car. Actually, they were originally a Grey Point farmer. Then they started their tractor manufacturing company, and they had we all know about the legendary car that they made. So they visited India in 2018, and they met only 3 companies. Out of that 3 companies, we were one of them. So they've given us intent letter that they would like to license the name Lamborghini to the tractors that we are currently producing. Apart from that, we have won a lot of agritech related awards, as well as recognitions at a state and national level as well. So yeah, so coming to the problems that we are trying to address while making this particular product, not only from my uncle that I spoke about in the beginning of the presentation, but also another 200 to 300 farmers we have interviewed after that interaction. We got to know that there are a lot of challenges that Indian farmers are facing. Out of that, these are the top 3 issues that we are trying to solve. One is the high operating expenses that are involved when they are trying to own a tractor in India, and that involves maintenance, diesel, hiring a person to actually drive it, and those are the issues when it comes to operating expenses. And the tractor as a whole, I mean, it's not one of the efficient vehicles to be used for tractors for farming activities. So that's where we are actually bringing the electric powertrain aspect to completely make sure that we take care of these challenges. And after we actually lived with the farmers, we tried to understand how their day-to-day life is, and we realized that they are actually, spending a lot of time on redundant activities, which also have severe health impact for them. So we actually saw that there's a farming community which is involved into horticulture. The only job that they're actually doing is taking the tractor on the farms along with a sprayer attached to it, and they're trying to spray the pesticides on the the fruit that they're cultivating. So while they're doing that, the spray actually settles on their body, and it's causing a lot of health issues for them on the long run. We're trying to eliminate the need of a driver for such activities, wherein we can make sure that there is no need of a driver to be present while these activities are performed. So that is what we have taken care of when it comes to automation. I'll just quickly show you a quick video of how the tractor is running and how we are using on the farms. This is one of the field tests that we were carrying out, with the farmer driving the tractor on the farms, and you can see it's a rice crop that has been already cultivated from this particular farm type. It's one of the toughest terrains that the tractor goes through, and the electric tractor which is performing that. There's another activity which I'm showing here. It's a rotary cultivator. I don't know if most of you know that this is actually powered by the tractor. You can see this shaft actually rotating and powering this equipment to make sure that the blades are rotating at a particular RPM to crush the soil in a particular texture, which is useful for the next crop. So turns out this farmer told us that the kind of texture that we are getting with the electric tractor being used in the farms is uh, twice as fast as normal diesel tractors will give. There's a spraying activity again. On road, it's quite smooth. I mean, we are able to achieve more speed at a very high, initial phase of the driving, and it has more torque, so it is able to pull heavy loads very easily compared to the normal diesel tractors. So it's more efficient on that aspect. This is a short clip of our autonomous tractor driving testing. You can see the obstacle detection part is being displayed. Tractor automatically stops when there's any obstacle coming in front of it, and then once the obstacle is gone, it will continue moving. So that was about how the tractor is and how exactly it runs on the fields. So as you can see, the design overall of the tractor, it's exactly like a normal diesel tractor from the outside, but when you open the hood, you will see there is no engine, there is no oil being used as such to actually run this machine. Primarily, we are not reinventing the entire wheel. We don't want to change too many parts and waste our time into that. We'll be focusing only on the powertrain aspect of the tractor, which is the replacement of engine with a motor and battery combination. That's where we are expertise in, and we are going to focus on. And rest of the parts have been tried and tested for many years, and it's proven to be very much effective. So we are going to keep it intact. And as far as the automation components are concerned, we are going to add that as an addition to the electric part. So yeah, so and there's one more aspect. We have mounted a charger on the tractor itself, so it's easier for the farmer to actually charge the tractor anywhere he's taking it, be it on the farm or be it on a nearby sabzi mandi or wherever he's going. Yeah, so this is how the automation aspect works. The farmer is supposed to take the tractor on the farm and drive it on the boundary only one time. Once the boundary is set for the farm, the tractor will automatically connect and it will start working. If there's any obstacle, it is already trained to deal with that obstacle through multiple testings that we've done. And if there's any unidentified object, which is something that the tractor does not know how to deal with, he'll ask the farmer if there's any input required. After that, once the job is done, the tractor will inform the farmer that the job is done. Meanwhile, the farmer gets the freedom to do his complementary businesses like milk production, poultry production, etc., which usually they are involved into. And actually, this kind of gives a extra source of income to the farmers and a sense of freedom to do that. And we're actually also introducing, we know that electric batteries are currently not as cheap as Indian. So we are actually planning to introduce a model wherein a shared model can be used, wherein a gram panchayat will have a charging station which is powered by solar energy, and multiple tractors can come to this one single station and they can charge themselves, and or we are even exploring the opportunity of having a battery swapping option for the tractors to immediately get it charged and move forward. So this is something that we are currently working on with existing partners. We don't want to do it without the partnerships of the yes. So to give you a global market idea, India covers one-third of the global market, and as far as the HP range is concerned, you can see we are dealing in 27 and 45 HP horsepower tractors. And globally, if you look at the demand wise category, the 60% demand is in this category, the 45 and 27 HP tractors. Even in India, if you look at the table below, uh, below 50 HP, almost 95% tractors are under that category, and 27 horsepower and 45 are believed to be the most popular range of tractors in the country right now. Yes, so this pyramid actually tells you why this whole electric autonomous tractor thing will be a success going forward in India. and most of the developing countries, is because land holdings are getting smaller and smaller every year, and you can see only 18% farmers are there who own more than 5 acres of land. For them, it makes sense to actually own a tractor, and for small and marginal farmers, it makes more sense to take it on lease or take it on rent from the bigger farmers. So our primary targets are going to be the horticulture belt farmers, who are the trend setters of the industry. They usually tend to go for the latest technologies that are available in the agricultural market, and then the whole world follows. So how exactly we're going to target them? We'll be having dealers who will be buying tractors from us, and they'll be renting out tractors to different farmers in their particular region. So as you can see, the current rate of renting a tractor in India is almost 1,250 rupees per acre. We can bring it down to almost 350 rupees per acre. And once the farmers actually try these tractors, they'll get a feel of how the tractor is functioning and how easy it is to operate and how efficient it overall is. And after that, they'll be starting to place orders. So basically, try before you buy kind of a model we are going to go into this podcast. And we're already in discussions with various companies who are already involved into agricultural, machinery renting business, and they're very much excited to have our tractors as soon as they're launched commercially. Yes, so we are giving a short example of how we are giving that profit to the farmer. Uh, you can see we have listed down various crops that are cultivated and how many hours the tractors are expected to be working on these crops from their entire life cycle, right from the day you prepare the soil to the sowing and then maintaining it and then cultivating it. Throughout that, how many hours we are using it per acre is what we've calculated, and we've calculated the overall cost that the farmer is basically going to, the selling rate that he's going to get from that particular area, and then we're seeing how much they are spending on the overall tractor aspect when it comes to diesel and labor cost. Basically, we are trying to show how much advantage the tractor is giving to the end customer, that is the farmer, when they are trying to produce these crops. So there are a lot of aspects, maintenance. When it comes to maintenance, actually, when you look at a tractor as a body, I don't know how many of you actually seen it. It actually has a lot of maintenance required because a lot of moving parts are there inside the tractor to make sure that it generates that kind of torque. And this leads to a lot of wear and tear of existing parts, mechanical components, which are very expensive. And for people who are owning cars and scooters, the maintenance is not as much as a tractor will actually give you because of the damage that it goes through continuously when it's operating on the farms. So our advantage is that we don't have these many moving parts. So the heating issues, the wear and tear issues are something that are completely eliminated, or I would say almost eliminated from our particular product. And this basically gives a edge over saving that extra expense towards the long run when the free warranty period is expired, and then you have to do it on your own. We've also given replacement warranties to our customers to make sure that that they believe in these electric tractors sooner. Uh, Market. Yes. So we can move on.
Kaustubh, before we go on to the next slide, can you just
Yeah.
go back? I just wanted to add something here.
Sure.
The previous slide, where we're talking about costs. You know?
Okay. Yes.
So, yeah, right. So, what has happened is during when we were conducting our surveys with, as Kaustubh mentioned earlier, more than 250 farmers all over India, that helped us to arrive at the costs that a farmer has to face today. And if you look at it, we can share the data offline also with you. If you look at it purely from a rice farmer's perspective, because rice is one of the most common crops grown in India, after taking into account all their expenses, a farmer is able to not save, save, or his profit is only about 10 to 15,000 rupees per acre. So for a smaller marginal farmer who has say 4 acres of land, that works out to barely 40,000 rupees is his profit. 40 to 50,000 rupees is profit at the end of the season. I'm talking about all expenses here, whether it's diesel, whether it's labor, then there is fertilizers, interest costs, all those expenses together. So if he's able to save only 40,000 rupees per season, so we're assuming even if he has two crops, that's like barely 80,000 rupees a year. This is what is his profit, and in that amount, it's very difficult for him to take care of his day-to-day expenses that are there. घर चलाना है ultimately हर किसान को. So to take care of his expenses, take care of his kids' education, and multiple other aspects that are there for a marginal farmer. So, with our proprietary Autonex solution, what we have been able to do is that the whole aspect about diesel expenses as well as labor, we've been able to reduce that by 70%. So, where previously, if you, per season, if you that same marginal farmer was earning about 40,000 rupees after taking into account all his expenses, we've been able to double that effectively to 80,000 rupees per season for a farmer who has 4 acres of land. So that ties in very well with the whole concept that the government of India has today of doubling farmers' income.
Right.
All right, Kaustubh, back to you.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. So this actually, as Ashish rightly mentioned, that overall benefits are there, but apart from that, we have given an exact, difference that we are actually making in the lives of farmers when they're trying to switch from diesel to electric or electric and autonomous. So the payback period when they're trying to buy this tractor is almost 3 to 4 years if you calculate the on an average use case. Be it a leasing operator or an individual farmer. The leasing operator is going to use tractor for more number of hours compared to the individual farmers. That accordingly we've made these calculations and we are arriving at this number. So it's in the the third or fourth year itself we are going to have profits from this particular vehicle, and they are going to be more than the diesel by almost 30 to 40%. So usually on an average, a tractor is used for almost 10 years in India per farmer. So that's definitely in a long-term game, it's definitely a useful case for them. So yes, we've been testing the tractor, as I said, for almost 2 years. We've been testing it for different equipments, different climatic conditions, and we've got good number of hours of output from one single charge discharge cycle. And these number of hours are more than enough for the farmers to get their job done. And the charging time that we have is also something that is very convenient for the farmers when they're coming back to have lunch or take a break when the sun is too hot and get the tractors charged. Yes, so we are working on various technologies, and out of that, I would like to highlight about the off-road automation aspect. A lot of there are companies who are working on-road automation. On-road automation, you will even find readily open source a lot of data, even codes are ready made available these days. But off-road, very few companies are actually working on. I would say one or two companies are only in this space, and it's a completely uncharted territory where we are working on since last 4 years, and we've been developing and collecting a lot of data around it from the farms, be it soil data, crop data, that can be used for multiple use cases. So it's basically like a software on wheels. So we already filed patent around that, and we believe that this is something that is going to be adding a lot of value to the overall economy of the country down the line once we commercialize this product. Yes, and a lot of people actually question us that how are you going to make these tractors? You're not tractor guys, and you don't have any experience in manufacturing. So that's where we actually trace back, how people are doing it and how people start manufacturing these tractors. We are going for the contract manufacturing way. We are living in 2021, and there is no need to actually own your own plant these days. There are ways to get your manufacturing done. Already, other companies are following it. There are no assets manufacturing facilities in Europe these days. Everything is outsourced. So now we've also identified our partner who will be taking care of the uh, mechanical body of the tractor, which is already tried and tested. There is no asset change that is happening inside that aspect. We completely the responsibility of the contract manufacturer, and when that is done, we'll be combining it with the electric powertrain and going forward.
So,
So
just a moment, can I add something here? So,
sure,
yeah.
sure.
So basically, yeah, our strategy is going to be to focus on the automation and the electric drivetrain aspect of the tractor primarily, because that is where we see the most added value. I mean, the rest of, as Kaustubh mentioned, rest of the tractor body is not going to change that much. And it hasn't changed that much also over the last 30-40 years, but we want to focus on our key focus areas, which are vehicle automation and electric drivetrain. And the other aspect is that don't look at it as a small expense, because as per data shared by the government of India, Indian farmers are spending per year about $8 billion just on diesel today. I mean, this is 2019 data from Payback Petroleum Planning and Analysis Cell. But $8 billion is a lot of money for the Indian farmers to spend just on diesel. So by electrifying the whole tractor ecosystem, we'll be enabling them to save that kind of money, and that will obviously have a lot of spin-off effects for the farmer. Apart from doubling farmer income, but it will also add a lot of other pluses for the rural ecosystem. Kaustubh, back to you.
Yes, thank you. So yes, so actually these are few of the commonly asked questions that we've already answered, and I'll try to just elaborate more on that. Uh, a lot of people say that you're making electric tractors, but what about electricity in rural areas? But we actually did our research, and we identified that there are only 12 states which have 98% of tractor sales, tractor penetration, and these 12 states have stable electricity supply, and we have an onboard charger. So when it comes to tractors, the electric infrastructure issue which we are facing in urban areas with all the scooter and two-wheeler, three-wheeler companies trying to enter market won't be a challenge for us, because there's a naturally available electric infrastructure already in the rural areas. Because of the water pumps that are there, we have three-phase supply available for the tractors to get charged and get back to working. So this is like this is when when it's going on the farm, but as well as when it's on in the farmer's house, we have a single phase option as well. He can charge directly on that, and overnight charging can give him almost a day's capacity of getting the job done. And when it comes to situations where the tractor is getting stuck, or how the battery will last in heavy rainy seasons, we've already in the photo, if you saw, the complete battery pack is IP67 protected, immersible completely, and you don't have to worry about battery getting wire or there's a short circuit issue as such when it comes to the battery. We're working on low voltages, which are completely safe for the human body, and apart from the protection that we're given. Apart from that, the charge daily on that reduced time that's available for farming applications. So basically, the farmers are actually using it, season wise, and basically they don't do it for continuously. They do it in the morning, and then they have to come back for a lunch, or the break that they take. So that time they can charge and go back uh, and keep on working. And in case of diesel, there are a lot of issues. I mean, you have to take the tractor all the way to the nearest city or nearest petrol pump, which is on an average 20 to 30 kilometers away from interior rural areas, which is again an inconvenience for the farmer, because the tractor is supposed to be working inside that farm. It need not go on the road. So this becomes a self-sustained model wherein you don't have to take it away from the farm.
Yeah, Costa wanted to add one more thing there.
Yes, sure.
Like, we also can't neglect the fact that tractors have lower mileage, so then that adds up as an added cost for the tractor owner or driver. He's taking it from the farm all the way to the pump, filling it up and bringing it back. So that adds into the whole cost aspect and makes it very expensive to run and operate a diesel tractor in India today. Please
Right.
go ahead, please.
Right. So yes, that's about it. And to conclude, as concluding remarks, I would like to say that BS6 is already here with the urban vehicles, and it will be soon made compulsory for diesel tractors. And when we do that, the overall cost of ownership of diesel tractor also is going to go up. And we know that every year the battery cell cost is actually going lower and lower. Almost a decade ago, it was 10 times more than what it is right now, and it is going further low with a lot of people coming in this space and the demand increasing. So definitely there is, I think, down the line 2 to 3 years we will see that shift happening at a very high pace from diesel to electric all across the country and in fact the entire world. Yes, so the difference that we are making, we've already spoken about it, and I'd like to stress more on the aspect of profitability. Almost an average income of a farmer is hardly 6 to 7 thousand rupees per month, which is these days not going to be enough for him to, survive and get all his basic needs fulfilled. So this tractor will definitely help him increase the overall profitability, and with the electric and the connected tractor facility that we are giving, we will make sure that the rates of renting this service will be uniform throughout the country, and even the poor farmers will be able to get more profits from the produce that they are having. So, yeah, so that's about it from our end. Uh, we are open for questions.
Thank you, Kaustubh.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ashish. There was a very, very detailed presentation, and I have to say that before we dive into Q&A, there are startups that are popping up every morning. You wake up, you see three more, but very rarely have at least I come across, or we as an organization come across somebody or an outfit that is so holistic in the sense that you seem to have covered a lot of bases, right from, and more importantly, I believe that with a lot of technology having focus on the end user consumer is something that I believe is fantastic. So is it a good time? We can dive into some questions?
Harsh, I just wanted to add to what you were saying, because
Yeah,
as Kaustubh mentioned earlier, most of our founding team as well as our core team, we all come from farming backgrounds. I mean, either
right,
we're doing farming ourselves, or we have very close relatives, brothers, cousins, first cousins who are involved in farming. So
right.
the team uh, is able to understand and uh, grasp the pain point. किसान का जो दर्द है आज की तारीख में, we are able to grasp it more effectively because of that aspect, because we are there on the ground, we're dealing with this issue on a daily basis. So that has helped us develop something, product or products rather, which are actually a need of the hour as far as they are concerned.
Absolutely, and I think that is a big, big highlight. Knowing the customer being maybe in a way being the customer yourself. And that's
Yes.
what I was getting at, right? There's a lot of announcements of products being made, but rarely is there any, like this entire picture taken care of, sort of. And especially, and what I find more interesting is that this is a space, usually in the mobility industry, we've seen everything trickle down from high-end luxury vehicles, and tractors and agriculture equipment are usually the pretty much the last, right? They lag by 4 or 5 years. Even if you see, for example, BS6, like you mentioned. So it's very nice to see that there is development happening. I think autonomy, especially, is extremely suitable for this application or this type of application. And if it starts here, it would help build the on-road autonomy. So that is why I think it's a fantastic idea to do both of them together. As far as some questions, I think I'm sort of going to break it down into electric and autonomous. When it
Sure.
comes to the utility standpoint, um, you know, of course, there is just no doubt that for a high torque application, especially a low speed high torque application, you can't find anything better than an electric motor. But from a powertrain level, from a component sizing level, how you've developed these tractors. Again, right now they're in the 30 to 45 HP, which is, very high number. Eventually, I'm sure it will build as farmers get more, income and stuff, and the processes tend to get more efficient. The sizes will increase, the powertrain requirements will increase. So from that perspective, one is the challenge of sourcing, because we still know that, especially in the local scheme of things, there's a lot of challenge to source components. You mentioned an onboard charger, the battery pack itself, cells are coming from outside. Um, so how do you see that, facing that challenge going forward? even from just the infrastructure standpoint. I know that you mentioned very clearly electricity demand is or access is not that difficult, but still for an individual farmer to be able to get attuned to this process. So these some of these things, if you can just highlight, if you don't mind.
Perfect. So yes, I mean, currently there are some geographical challenges with the sourcing aspect as well, because currently we don't have any manufacturer of lithium cells or the cells that are used on these electric vehicles. So there are a lot of battery manufacturing companies that have popped up in the country since the last 3 years. In 2017, when we were looking for batteries, there was hardly any professional, company trying to make those in India. So that time it was something that we had to rely on, import for the tractor. But there has been growth, and there are a lot of companies already established and proper processes that manufacturing in India, and which gives us the advantage of making sure that the servicing aspect is also something that is taken care of by a local support. And when it comes to tractors, definitely we are working with these companies to give them the right data points and to develop these. And in the long run, definitely there will be I think they've already opened up few companies who are also trying to manufacture the cells in India. So once that is done, I don't think will be any challenge in terms of sourcing these rare parts. Apart from the sourcing part, as far as the infrastructure is concerned, yes, we have to work with other existing players into how we give these batteries or these charging options. There are already big players like Tata and Adani Group, etc., who already are introducing their charging infrastructure in the urban areas. We have to definitely do that for rural areas as well. It will highly depend on how much the penetration of the tractors is in a particular region. Because for one or two tractors, nobody is going to set up a private company won't be interested to actually set up their own separate charging station. But yes, that is where we are working with. We are making sure that whenever we start launching these tractors, it will be region specific to a tehsil level, and then we move on to next one. Instead of going all the way pan India at one shot, and then not providing the proper services, it's better to go stepwise. I hope that
So
answers.
I just want to add to what Kaustubh was saying here that we'll be focusing on gram panchayats because that is where those are the hub of activity most for rural India. And those gram panchayats where we'll be partnering with them. We already have agreements in place with a couple of them for our test deployments, initial test deployments. So we'll be working with them and we'll be setting up the initial charging infrastructure in those gram panchayats where responsibility of maintaining, I mean, sourcing is one aspect, it's a one time thing, but who's going to
Yes.
maintain those charging stations? That is a bigger challenge. So by giving this responsibility, we'll be training them from our side, the them once, and then giving them the responsibility for maintenance of those charging stations automatically adds more, I would say, stability. From a farmer's perspective, that he knows that, and because obviously he trusts the gram panchayat more than anybody else. He doesn't trust somebody sitting in Delhi or Mumbai to do the work for him. He will trust what the Gram Panchayat GP, whatever they say, he will trust it openly and blindly, basically. So, giving that responsibility directly to the Gram Panchayat after training them, and we'll be training their from their side a couple of young technicians to manage all aspects of this charging infrastructure as well as some of the basic issues that might crop up in the tractor. Also, on the electric drivetrain side, uh, we will we will build that kind of a infrastructure there. And on the battery side, the other thing is the government of India has done a lot of positive work in the last 2 years under the PLI scheme. So our tractors are expected to roll off the assembly line sometime in the middle of next year, say around July of 2022, July to August of 2022. By then, our expectation is those PLI scheme will fructify, and you'll start seeing good number of at least 2 to 3 lithium battery manufacturers developing in India. So we are not that concerned about the battery aspect there.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I agree. I mean, things are picking up. Um,
Yes.
so for sure. And again, with the recent experiences we've had in the industry and overall in the world, I'm pretty sure that becoming self depend or becoming independent as far as sourcing is concerned is a big thing, not just like pretty much
Yes.
for the entire mobility industry. You talk about subscription models and how a bulk of these farmers would end up benefiting from a subscription based model. From that perspective, again, which basically means that over time, and add to that the fact that maintenance schedules are extremely extended now compared to a diesel tractor, comparable diesel tractor, right? So from that perspective, how and a business and economies of scale perspective, how do you see that model changing completely now? Because the number of tractors actually being sold will go down. So where is the business case,
Right.
or where is the business
So
case predominantly?
yes, actually, this definitely, we won't have to anymore set up a local, service center anymore because these tractors are completely connected to internet. Just like, in a Teslas or, electric cars that are there, you get to know what exactly the, issue is before it's happening. And, we can call the farmer beforehand and tell him that, we are coming, to fix this issue. We can send an engineer, a professional trained, engineer who is residing locally to the farmer's facility to actually fix that electronic or electrical servicing, for example. Because of electric, we are able to do that, and because of internet connectivity, we are able to will be able to do such aspects as well. So investments, a lot of investment in having various servicing centers locally at a village level won't be anymore required. We will be creating more smarter jobs for people like who have done mechanical engineering and electronics engineering, electrical engineering to do these kind of services for us.
Service stations now you're looking at having data centers basically because that will be the big
Yes,
investment here.
yes,
All right. So a quick question on the current model or product that you have compared to a diesel tractor in a peak season. You mentioned that the three-phase supply can do 3 hours, a full charge in 3 hours. And currently, I believe you do not have a battery swap yet, right? So how many hours of operation can it do with the current spec at a full charge? Still during a peak season, that would be 10 hours or more.
yes. So the practical number that we would, like say the 6 hours of operation we can do on heavy duty applications, especially when it comes to flowing and powered equipment such as rotary cultivator that you saw in the video. Such applications we are able to do for 6 hours, and this is something that is more than enough for the farmer because the advantage in electric is that it can not only perform the activity faster but also move forward faster compared to the diesel tractor. Because in diesel, energy gets kind of split between moving forward and performing the equipment. So
Right.
we can efficiently decide how we are using pulling out the juice out of the battery and to for what uh, based on our trials and testing that we've carried out. So that gives us a more advantage. We can perform more activity in lesser time, and that is how we are, getting the equal amount of job done uh, as the diesel tractors are doing.
Right, because the energy consumption overall is lower per hour or whatever metric you choose is a lot lower, so you'll be able to compete with a diesel tractor on that front. Okay,
Yes,
great.
IC engine is 30% efficient, and it's this is 75 to 80%. So that difference itself will, make
Huge.
take care of the job. Yeah.
Okay, great. From switching a little bit to autonomy now, that's an area that is again from an agricultural perspective maybe slightly less challenging compared to on road because you cannot plan for events on the road, especially in a country like ours. But regardless, right? You talk about IoT and connectivity and being able to track tractors remotely,
Right.
including diagnostics, I believe.
Right.
So what sort of can you highlight some challenges, right? Like you have to map terrains, you have to map the overall cycle. There's a lot of challenges when it comes to just putting a tractor in the field and saying it's going to job in the next 6 hours. So again,
Right.
such a lot of testing on the ground or on the what you call field. Can you share some experiences on on things that were big challenges that you have overcome in this space especially?
Basically in 2017 when we launched the first like autonomous tractor prototype, we were expecting the farmers to actually plot the boundary of the farm on a tablet. That was the first version that we had, and then we tested it with the farmers, and we saw that what their reaction was. They could not figure out how which their farm is, or the top view that we gave. So then we changed our entire model to in such a way that we expect the driver to first connect his a phone to the tractor, and then drive it himself on the boundary, because not every farm is a perfect rectangle or a perfect shape that could be plotted on a
Yes,
tablet. So then this they made sure that the geofencing is uh, done on a proper way, and we have a proof that you set the boundary yourself, so which which is the last lane, and all that. And after that mapping is done, inside that grid formation is something that is totally dependent on what agricultural activity you're doing, which crop you're growing. We are all collecting data to put like a you can select a crop, and then automatically it will form that grid pattern inside that. Or else you can do it on your own. You can on your own you can decide how much gap you want between two lanes and all those things based on the local practice they have been. And yeah, so that is mapping part. And as far as automation is concerned, it's very much straightforward. That we will be definitely introducing local languages as well, for the people to understand, and more a pictorial view we are going to give, so that people can understand what they're inputting inside. They're giving it as input to the tractor. And yes, that's how we are working on it.
I just want to add, one more thing there. Like, there are a lot of small challenges, which you can't foresee initially
yes,
when you are in the design stage of the tractor. To give you one example, like our tractors, they come with proximity sensors as well as 3D stereo cameras
mm,
for vehicle object detection. So
right,
what we saw once happened, once we went into the field, and the stereo camera got blocked because of mud, sticky mud came on the
right,
camera. Then that affected the data that is going onto the onboard computer. And how do you fix that problem? So what we ended up doing is we ended up raising the height of that stereo camera, putting it at the very top of the hood, so that gives you a much better vantage point for that. And at that also, at the same time, what we ended up doing was, if suppose one aspect, whether the stereo camera or the proximity sensors are not delivering data to the onboard computer, then we compensate. That's something which we have to do. We have built backups into every single stage
right,
of the tractor to account for this. I mean, it's not like one thing fails, so everything should fail. That is something which we have taken into account in our design. And obviously, as we experiment more, as Kaustubh rightly mentioned, we have been working in the field for the last 3 years now, 3 years. So we have seen a lot of small engineering challenges crop up regularly. And as the challenge crops up, then we sit down, brainstorm, the entire team brainstorms, and we come up with a solution. And the Indian word we use, jugaad. So that is
yes,
something, even in the engineering sense, we have to do jugaad sometimes.
right. And I think that's the one thing we are absolutely famous for as a collective country. So no
Absolutely
doubt there.
right.
I'm glad you brought that up because my next point or question was about that, or I guess observation. The fact that cameras and sensors tend to drive up the cost of otherwise a tractor that didn't have them. And this is where I think your subscription model fits fantastically, because then the owner is not worried about the sensors or upgrades or whatever, the company's taking care of it. They just pay the per acre price and they're happy with it. So that in
Absolutely.
that aspect, I feel, because that's one thing that's facing the automotive industry. Average cost of vehicles has gone exponentially up in the past 5 years. Maintenance costs, insurance premiums, etc., etc. It all adds on, which you don't see when you buy it. Great. Okay, I could talk to you guys all day long, but we have a limited slot here. I will ask you one more question before we switch to some audience questions, and that is to do with we focused a lot on the electric and autonomous tractor application product that you have, which is of course the highlight. But I also want to make the audience aware of some of the other things you do, which is one that particularly, of course, you provide consultancy in the industrial automation, but one product that really got me very excited or interested was the fact that you built a three-wheeler tricycle, or sorry, a tricycle that can help differently abled folks. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yes, yes. So, yes, actually, this product we developed during the pandemic time. As nobody was spared by the pandemic, and everybody was, at a standstill. And we did not want, being a startup, we cannot not do anything. So
Yeah.
that time we made sure that our resources are utilized for the fullest, and we invested into this small project. That's a tricycle project we built by discussing with various specially able people what challenges that they're facing currently, especially when mobility is concerned. So they have these hand crank tricycles. You must have seen a lot of places. It's very difficult for them to use them, climb steep slopes, go to different places wherever they're working, and it's the designs are very not that appealing, and not that comfortable for the person to actually use. So we built this in 2020, and now we've already received some big orders for this tricycle from various government as well as private, dealers and distributors. So we are catering to the. This is one of the India's first tricycle which has even a reverse gear. So most of them,
Yes, yes.
their lower body is completely almost 90% disabled, and they cannot push the vehicle behind with their legs like other people can do, and especially when small streets or very uh, narrow roads, they cannot take a complete U-turn. So reverse gear brings a lot of comfort, a lot of advantage to them while moving around. And apart from that, we've given various features to it, like we've attached ice box and foldable table and all those things to give them that Atmanirbhar feel, to have their own businesses, to be independent completely and do their own get self-employed basically. So that is something that we're working on, and we're going to improve that product more and give more opportunities for such people as well in the industry.
Yeah, just to add to what Kaustubh was saying, not just people with physical challenges, but also senior citizens. As I'm sure you also must have seen in your family the number of people with knee problems or hip problems has increased dramatically in the last, I would say, last decade or so. So for them also, these tricycles which we have designed for last mile connectivity, it's serving a very useful purpose, and lot we've had I'm sorry, we've received a lot of positive feedback from senior citizens as well about the tricycles. So that they are very happy about it, because it's three-wheeler. So then the question of falling down, this is something which worries a senior citizen a lot. मैं गिर गया, मेरा पैर का हड्डी टूट गया, तो उसको जुड़ने में 1.5-2 महीने वापस लग जाएंगे. For a senior citizen, obviously, because the healing is slower. So here, by giving them all the seat belt and everything that is there to protect them, basically, and it's much cheaper because it's electric. The cost is a fraction of what it would cost you to run a petrol
Yeah,
auto. Or,
it was like 25 paise a kilometer, I
yeah.
believe, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yes,
that's
that's right. Yeah. So
which is
that's right.
nothing. Give them some security while they're moving around and doing things. There's that
Right.
secure feeling. Yes, that makes sense. No.
Right.
Great. I definitely think that this should be equally talked about as much as the developments in electrification and autonomy, because this is a very, very fantastic exercise, or sorry, rather, what do you call it? I'm at a loss of word right now, but it's a great initiative. and it's very nice to see companies thinking about people from all walks of life. Great. Okay, so time to move on to some questions from the participants. And thank you so much. I've had a great time chatting with you guys. And yeah, we'll move on to some questions. Okay. So there's a question from Vijay Arora. Vijay, would you like to speak up?
Thanks, great talk. But tell me, what
Yeah.
I know is most farmers use the tractor for dual purpose, haulage as well as agriculture. Uh,
True.
both your models, how do you handle that?
Yes, actually, that's a very good point. In fact, when we surveyed, it was 60% for haulage and 40% only for farming. And since it's a multi-utility product, we have made sure that performance-wise, it's equivalent to the diesel tractors. So if a diesel tractor of a 27 horsepower or 45 power is able to do such certain job, this electric tractor will be able to do all the types of jobs that are being done by the equivalent diesel one. So power-wise or activity-wise, all are taken care of when it comes to electric. And we've seen tractors being used even for pulling water out of wells, and even powering generators at weddings in rural areas. So a
Hmm.
lot of use cases we have seen. So we've made sure that these facilities are also available very easily for end customers.
Yeah, I'm sure you must have, but I just thanks.
Okay. All right. Okay, Kirti in the audience had a question. Please go ahead.
I wanted to know, with a 1 ton of load, how many kilometers can this tractor drive?
Right. Actually, with 1 ton, it's very much easier for it to go for even 8 hours. Kilometer-wise, if you look at, it's almost more than 120 kilometers. But our max capacity is, in fact, 4 ton. For Indian, use case, we've made sure that some extra load, if at all, people add, then also it will work. Because people tend to attach two trailers and all as well. So we have tested it for it, and 6 hours is an average that we are getting on such extreme conditions as well.
Yeah, because we Indians always want sort of the extra. Always we want something little extra. That's why.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Ashish, Kaustubh, would you guys like to just say something before we end the session for today?
Yeah,
I,
sure.
I, I,
So yeah, yeah. See, we are basically a startup currently, and we hope to get good amount of support from all of you, and who are EV enthusiasts and even automation related enthusiasts. We are open for even looking at a few people who would like to join us in this journey, and who are interested in this field. They can definitely reach out to us, and we can definitely work out on how we can work together. And as far as we are basically currently even raising a investment round. We've already almost done with that, with a lot of HNIs coming on board. I think I did not mention Chetan Maini himself. He has invested into our company. 25 plus years of experience he has of making India's first electric car Reva, now Mahindra Reva. So a lot of experienced folks are on board, and definitely it's a very good learning curve that we have. So we're open for even having more people on board. Uh, you know, those are really interested.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank
I,
you.
I wanted to just because I know there are a lot of entrepreneurs and high quality engineers on this call. I just wanted to say, like, please don't neglect the Indian agricultural space. I mean, please go and spend some time with the farmers, with the people who are on the ground there. Yeah, even if you go to just a couple of districts and see what their pain points are. In our case, because we spent so much time with with the farmers on the ground, that's why we were able to reduce the cost of input for them. I mean, effectively on two areas. One is we were able to remove the diesel expense for them, diesel and maintenance expense, and the second is the labor cost we have been able to reduce with our semi-autonomous or autonomous electric tractors. But there are multiple other challenges which an entrepreneur, if he looks at seriously, he or she, it doesn't matter, can definitely solve, and that can be a potentially a very big market. Don't look at it just in the context of your district or your state or just India, but for the entire world. And there are a lot of agencies and funds which are ready to support agriculture startups also today. Like NABARD from the government of India is one of the biggest, but there are multiple other VCs and angels as well. So please don't neglect agriculture. Go spend some time with them. In Maharashtra, we have a very famous dish called Zonka Bhakri. So go and have Zonka Bhakri with them, or you can go to Punjab and eat makke ki roti with sarson ka saag with them, and spend some time with them, on the ground, and figure out. I said, spend some time with them, understand what their pain points are, because we got the best breeds in the world. I have no doubt about it. And if we put our minds to solving any problem, we can overcome it. So just please, that is my request. Like, don't ignore. I mean, rural India. That is the only request that I have from my side.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you for that. Yes, definitely need-based solutions. Uh, great. Again, really great having you guys. I think Saturday afternoon couldn't have gone better, and I hope the participants feel the same. And yeah, let's definitely keep connected, and all the best for for basically everything you know from here.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for giving us the opportunity.